The center game is an aggressive opening where white rapidly challenge black's central control, and it starts with the move e4 e5 d4. This is the center game. Black goes e takes d4. Now you have two options, either to take this pawn with the queen or play c6. This is the Danish gambit. But today we will see queen takes d4. And after knight c6, we generally have two responses. Either queen e3, which is the main move, or you can also play queen a4. Well, I generally recommend you play queen e3, but let me show you how you can also play with queen a4. Black goes knight f6, developing his knight. You play knight f3, bishop c5, normal move. You play bishop g5, pinning his knight to the queen. Let's say black castle here. You play knight c3, h6. We play bishop h4, maintaining this pin. Let's say black goes bishop to b4. You play bishop d3. And after something like d6, you can just castle on the kingside. And after that, you can continue playing. But the main line starts with the move queen to e3. This is the main move in the center game. And after black goes knight f6, you play knight c3. In the center game, you generally castle on the queen side because you already have your queen out. Therefore, after black goes something like bishop b4, you can just play bishop d2. And after black castle, you can castle on the queen side. Black goes something like rook e8. The e pawn is quite weak. You can go for f3, which is quite okay, but the main move is queen g3. Let's say black takes this pawn. Here, don't make the mistake of taking the rook, because after knight takes e4, black can take this knight, hitting your queen. Let's say you go queen to e3, then black can just take this bishop, forking the king and the queen. You have to give up the rook, and after black takes, the position is quite better for the black pieces. Therefore here, the main move is a3. Black goes bishop d6. Don't take the rook because your queen is under attack. The main move is f4 here. Let's say rook moves back. You play bishop d3. And here you can develop your pieces. And since both sides have castled opposite sides, you can use your pawns to open up the king, and it's going to be quite an aggressive game. Here after e takes d4, you can also go with the move knight f3. This is the Kizeritsky variation, and after knight c6, you can just regain this pawn. Black goes something like knight f6, then you can just take this pawn. Black captures with the b pawn, and after e5, attacking the knight, queen e7, you play queen e2. Black goes knight d5, then you can attack this knight further with c4. Bishop a6, pinning your pawn to the queen. You play b3, and after black goes something like g6, you can play f4, defending this pawn. d6, trying to put more pressure on this pawn. You play queen f2. Black moves his knight to safety. You cannot take because that pawn is pinned to the queen. Therefore you play bishop e2, d takes e5, and don't recapture, instead just castle here. And after knight e4, attacking the queen, you can move your queen away. And let's say black castle long, then you can develop your other pieces and then continue to play. Here after d4, black can also go with this crazy d5 move. This is the Beyers gambit. Here you go d takes e5, and the main move here is bishop e6. Black is trying to avoid a queen trade. You play d takes e4, attacking the bishop. Bishop takes d5, knight c3, developing with tempo. Black goes bishop b4, pinning your knight. Bishop d2, unpinning. Bishop e6, moving the bishop back to safety. Knight f3, black goes knight c6, and here you play bishop d3. And after black goes knight e7, you can play queen e2, castle on either side, and then continue to play. Now let me show you some amazing traps in the center game that you can use to win quickly. After e4, e5, d4, e takes d4, you play queen takes d4, knight c6, queen a4, black goes knight f6, knight c3, black goes d5, striking in the center. You play bishop g5, pinning this knight to the queen. D takes e4 by black. You recapture with the knight. And here white goes queen to e7, putting pressure on this knight. But you just ignore this and castle here. Here, black goes queen takes e4, thinking that after you recapture, he can take with the knight and he will be up a piece. But you will shock him with rook to d8. And after king takes, you can take his queen. He cannot take with the knight because it is pinned to the king. Let's move on to our next trap. After e4, e5, d4, e takes d4, you take with the queen, knight c6. Then you play queen e3, bishop e7. You play knight c3, knight f6, bishop d2, preparing to castle. Black goes d5. You take this pawn, and then black goes knight to b4, trying to regain the pawn and also threatening a family phone. Therefore, you just castle here, and here black takes this pawn with the other knight, and you go knight takes d5. And before taking this knight, black plays an intermezzo with knight takes a2 check. You play king b1, attacking the knight. Black takes the other knight, also defending his knight. But you play b3, trying to take this knight, knight b4. But here you are going to shock him with queen takes e7 check, sacrificing the queen. And after king takes, you will play bishop takes b4 check, which is a discovered attack on the queen. Now black have to play queen e6. Now here don't take this queen with the rook, instead play bishop c4. And now you are just up a piece and completely winning. Now let's move on to our last trap. After e4, e5, d4, e takes d4, queen takes d4, knight c6. We play queen e3. Black goes bishop b4 check. We play c3, bishop a5. We play bishop c4, developing the bishop. And here, white goes knight g7. You don't want to go knight to f6 because of this push. Then you play queen g3, attacking the g7 pawn. Black castle here. You play h4. Black goes knight g6, h5, attacking this knight. Black goes knight g5, hitting the bishop. Bishop g5, counter attacking the queen. Queen e8. Bishop f6, threatening a checkmate. Therefore black goes g6. And here you go h takes g6. If he takes this pawn with the h pawn, then you can play rook to h8 checkmate. And here, if you take this pawn with the knight, threatening to take the e4 pawn with check, then you can play queen takes g6, sacrificing the queen. He cannot take with the f pawn because of the bishop, so he goes h takes c6. And then rook to h8 is a checkmate. Well, this is not the end. If you want to learn some more chess openings, then you can check out this left playlist. And if you want to learn some chess traps, then you can check out this right playlist. And if you don't want to miss more amazing videos like these, then don't forget to subscribe.